Am I the butthole for refusing to pay my husband for using a room in the house for my WFH job? I, 32 female, began working from home 2 months ago. My husband bought the house we live in before we got together. He calls it his property, which is fine by me. The house is small, has only 2 rooms, one of which used to be empty. Today I learned I started using it as an office for my WFH job. All was going fine with my job. Today I learned he sat me down last night saying he's expecting 30% profit from whatever I get from my job since he provides the office for my work. I was completely caught off guard by this. I asked if he was serious and he went on about it being his home and how he could be using this room for his own purpose since it's his property. I said no and called him unreasonable, which led to a blow-up. I yelled at him saying he won't get a penny, and he pitched a fit and accused me of taking full advantage even though there's no mortgage to be paid. I do all chores in the house as well as pay the bills in half. He got his family involved in this and they're split. His mom thinks I'm being difficult and that 30% is not a huge amount and that this room is providing stability for my WFH and so my husband should get some sort of benefits. Am I the butthole for putting my foot down and refusing to pay a penny? Not the butthole. Time to immediately stop paying bills and doing all the housework. Move into your office. If he wants to treat you like a tenant, act like one. Do not combine your money with his. Pay him the going rate of tenancy. Start looking for a new place to live because this marriage is over. It's just a financial agreement to him. ETA, thank you for all the awards. I am honored. Not the butthole. Your husband is being unreasonable, and is clearly signaling to you that the house you live in is not your home. That is not a situation I would want to be in, personally. Does he charge you rent for use of the bathroom and shower? Do you charge him for sex? Not the butthole, honey. He will always hold that he owns the home over your head. You'd be better off moving into a tiny cheap bedsit or a house share and saving for your own place than paying him 50% of bills then an extra 30% of your wages. That he discussing stuff with his mom isn't good either. 1/3 of your wages is a huge amount. All the housework too? Oh honey. Not the butthole. Divorce him and take half the house. See if he thinks that is fair. Am I the butthole for selling my son's car to pay for his stepbrother's surgery? My stepson, 16, has a medical condition since he was born. He used to be doing fine, but 14 months ago his health started worsening. His mom and I put all our emergency fund towards his first surgery. Now 7 months later he's in need of a second one, which was not anticipated. We're not doing great financially. We don't have anything of value to sell to use the money on the surgery except my 18-year-old son's car that me and his mom bought together, and I eventually gave it to him to drive to college. I decided since it was in my name that I could sell it. He found out and was not happy about it. I explained the situation to him, but he said it was a gift from me and his mom and I had no right to take it back and sell it. I explained again, but he was having none of it. We got into a huge argument and his uncle started shaming me for taking the car, saying my stepson's health issues aren't my son's responsibility. I refused to negotiate or get into an argument with them, but my son's upset and he's been avoiding me and my wife for days now. You're the butthole. Do you plan to give your ex-wife her investment in the car back after you sell it? Also, your son is 18, why is the car still in your name? This is not a solo decision you can make. 1. Mom paid for part of the vehicle. 2. The vehicle is your son's vehicle and was a gift. It should already be in his name. 3. You are creating resentment and strife in your family. There are charitable foundations, state medical and other options to pay for the surgery that don't involve stealing from your child. Info, why not sell your car? Or your wife's? As a bio mom and a stepmom, what you did was honestly disgusting. I can't tell you the ways I would be pissed off and looking at legal options if my ex-husband sold my son's car that I helped buy to pay for someone's medical bills that have no relation to me, and barely a relation to my son, and to know that my son wasn't even asked or consulted with first. I'm sorry your stepson is sick, but that is not your son's problem. Edit, you're the butthole. He found out and was not happy about it. Wait, you sold his car, which was also from his mom, without telling him. Like there was no discussion of we're struggling financially and your brother needs this surgery and we're out of options. Would you consider doing this and I'll do X in the future? What is his relationship with his stepbrother like? What did his mother say about this decision? Did you reach out to other family members before selling your son's car? You're the butthole. You gave him a gift. One that he uses to go to school. Instead, you should have explained the situation and asked if he would be willing to sell his car to help. If he refuses, then you don't sell the damn car. Why don't you sell your car instead? Am I the butthole for calling my girlfriend selfish for not picking my kids up from school? I, 36 male, have been with my girlfriend, 32 female, for 2 years. I have 2 boys, 13 male, 9 male, from my previous relationship. Their mom is not in the picture. I work full-time and my girlfriend used to stay home and take care of everything else. I still help out here and there, yet she would complain about the kids causing constant messes, not receiving proper discipline, accidents like breaking a vase, and the list goes on. She complained that she is more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income. Yet she decided she wanted to go back to work and started looking. She found a potential job and her interview was yesterday. I called her to remind her to pick the kids up from school since she's responsible for it, but she said she was about to start her interview and told me to go get them. I was stunned. I told her I couldn't because I was at work. She said I could take a break, but I refused because this would have affected my job. I asked if she'd take 10 minutes to quickly go pick them up, but she refused. We ended up getting into an argument and me telling her she should have figured something out beforehand. She blew up saying that I'm the parent and that she was tired of being at my beck and call all the time. The kids ended up being picked up by my friend 40 minutes later, which made them upset. At home, I got into a huge argument with my girlfriend, calling her selfish for doing this to the kids and ditching them like that. She said that she had an important interview and that I, as the parent, could have figured something out instead of expecting her to drop what she was doing and pick the kids up. She called me in butthole, then went to stay with her mom. She complained that she is more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income. Just based off of this, you're the butthole. You're the butthole. You're also deluded. Greater than she complained that she is more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income. Bringing in the money makes you a provider, not a parent. Greater than I work full-time and my girlfriend used to stay home and take care of everything else. By your own words, it sounds like she's been very selfless and helpful. You're the selfish one. Am I the butthole for giving away my stepkids' Disney tickets away? 2 months ago I told my oldest SD18 I needed to request this weekend off because we were celebrating our Christmas and the boys' birthdays. I even texted their mother and made arrangements for my youngest SD14 and she acted like she was on board with it. We have this ongoing issue with my stepkids about them only coming over when we are doing something fun. Every time we try to get them and just spend time with them at the house, they make up every excuse in the book why they cannot come. I purposely did not tell them or my kids what the plans were this weekend. SD18 couldn't get off of work, so I told her it's cool, we will do something for her later on, no big deal, and understand how it is working retail during the holidays. Today I texted their mother to confirm if SD14 were coming over tomorrow, and she said SD14 had a long week and was really emotional and did not want to go to our house without her older sister. Total bullcrap. She doesn't even like her sister like that, and she's been to our house plenty of times without her sister. Just another excuse on why she cannot come. Mind you, it's my hubby court-ordered weekend with her anyways. We don't make her come over, so we just get her whenever she wants to come over. So I texted their mom back and said no big deal, we will do something else with them another time. So SD18 texted me a little while ago asking what we're doing and told her we are spending the weekend at Disney and another event. I told her so she wouldn't be surprised when photos are posted this weekend. Now all if she wants to call out of work and my other SD14 wants to come without her sister now lol. I told them I'm sorry I gave the boys' friends those tickets because y'all didn't want to come over. I really did. So now they are pissed off and a part of me doesn't feel bad for SD14. SD18 is understandable because she actually has a good excuse, but I do not want her calling out because she's on the verge of getting fired already for her attendance. Hubby wants to cave in and let her come, but I don't want to because I'm over her only wanting to see us when we're spending money on her. I want this to be a lesson to SD14 and he doesn't see it that way. I gave her an opportunity to come and she didn't want to, so. Am I the butthole? ETA, before anyone says I'm being unfair to my SK, I treat my bio kids the same way. My oldest had his fair share of missing out on events. He knows better now lol. When I say get in the car and let's go, don't question it, just get in. ETA, it's not a game I'm playing. Over the years I just got tired of feeling used. The only time they want to come over is when we're doing something or they want something. That's why I stopped telling them what we were doing. My husband is cheap and doesn't care for fun things. I plan and pay for just about everything we do that's fun. We all have a good relationship and they are growing older and they rather be with friends, so we are trying to give them the space to do that. But before SD18 got a job, we would try to plan things with them, my kids included, and it just became a can we go here instead and complaining about everything. So that's why now if I want to do something I don't tell them plans, I just ask them if they are coming, and if they don't then they stay home. All of the kids are in different age groups, so I try to plan things for each child and invite the others, but that's been extremely difficult because of the complaining. Not the butthole. You asked them to make time to celebrate the holidays and your son's birthdays as a family. That wasn't important to them until they found out how you'd be celebrating. I'm glad your sons get to celebrate their special days with PPL who actually value their company. Not the butthole. As a step-parent and bio-kid parent of a teen, if they don't want to genuinely spend time with you, it's their loss. Not the butthole. Simple thing is the stepchildren don't want to spend time with their family unless they directly profit off of it. They had their chance to spend time with OP and family, who made it clear they all wanted to spend time with the two stepdaughters. They didn't want to, which makes it fair to pass that opportunity on to someone else that actually wants to spend time with them. In this case, son's friends. You can't reject the cake and eat it too. Am I the butthole for not telling my parents about the award and that I won? My 20 female sister, 18 female, when she was 12 years old, was diagnosed with cancer. Because of this, my parents became almost completely absent from my life, as my sister spent a lot of time in the hospital or undergoing chemotherapy. So 70% of the time I was alone or just being ignored. My sister was cured of cancer at 15 and things are back to normal. My parents, always absent in my life for everything, not just school, interfered with our relationship. In those 3 years, they never knew my grade, any game I played, anything related to me. If I showed up with blue hair, they wouldn't notice at that time, and I tried so hard to get their attention for 5 minutes, Burr eventually just gave up. It's okay, they were focused on my sister and I get it, but yeah, I created a life independent of them. My parents even tried to get closer and we have a closer relationship, but it was never really the same. I don't have a close relationship with my sister because we don't get along so well. But even so, they never expressed an explicit interest in what I do. I managed to get into college. Currently I still live with them, but I intend to move by July next year. I pay rent and for my share on the bill, groceries, etc. Recently my scientific work in college competed for an award at the state level and I was super happy. The award did not take place in person and it was by Zoom. I ended up winning. It was on a Wednesday. On Friday, me, my boyfriend and friends went to celebrate for dinner. My boyfriend and friend posted things congratulating me. On Saturday, before I went to work, my parents came to talk to me, asking about the award and if I had really won. When I confirmed it, they started asking how I didn't invite them to see the award and how I could hide something so good. I just replied that I didn't think they would mind honestly. They started complaining, but I said I had to work. Later, my sister texted me saying that I broke our parents' hearts by saying that and that I was really punishing them for something in the past that they couldn't help themselves. My parents are distant from me and my sister is still calling me an butthole. They never really showed interest in my stuff or asked anything, even after, which doesn't happen with my sister. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. This might be a wake-up call for your parents that they needed. Truth is harsh sometimes. Not the butthole, they've normalized this reaction you have. You can't be held accountable now when they've changed their outlook on life. Maybe with time you can become closer if you want, but don't worry about that and enjoy the thrill of the win. Congratulations. And your sister is the butthole here for sticking her beak in. Am I the butthole for refusing to give my father and his wife money that my father saved for me before he met her? My father married his wife when I was 12, 4 years after my mom died from cancer. My father's wife had a 3-year-old daughter who a year into their marriage was diagnosed with a form of cancer that is tricky to treat. She underwent chemo and radiation but the treatment did not work. They were told about this alternative treatment that was not offered in any local hospital and it would require staying someplace else for at least 3 months with her. The treatment itself was also expensive. My father was never wealthy, neither was his wife, and her daughter's father and his family were not in her life. There was only one thing that was easily sold and would make enough money to get started on the journey, and that was my mom's engagement ring. It left to me, in her will, and was mine. Before my mom it was her mother and grandmother's ring. My great-grandparents helped someone out and it was a gift that was then passed down because of its value. It was extra sentimental because my grandma was in a nursing home with dementia at the time and I had no other living maternal family left. My father decided that could be sold to pay for the treatment. I said no, I begged him not to. He and his wife told me her daughter's life was more important and that it would be selfish to keep a ring and let her die. I told my father I would never forgive him if he sold the ring and that he was stealing from me, because it was mine. He went ahead and sold it anyway and I stayed true to my word. I never forgave them. I moved out in March, before turning 18, and cut them out of my life. I still hate the two of them and wanted nothing more to do with them again. My father tried to stay in my life but I told him I hoped he knew he lost his daughter, me, and that I wish it had been him to die instead of my mom. His wife's daughter's cancer has returned and now they want money that my dad saved for me before he married her. It's not a lot of money at all. But I guess they still have lingering stuff from when she was sick before. I told him I would not give him the money and the fact he would ask for it showed that he didn't give a crap about me. His wife told me that it's not about me, it's about saving her daughter's life and me being hung up on losing a ring that went on to save the life of a child. I told her that ring meant more to me than they did and that I would not give them any money, so they needed to leave me alone and figure out another plan. My father's parents got involved and I ended up deleting most of my social media and ignoring them. But then I saw my father's wife while I was grabbing groceries and she told me I'm evil and sick and twisted and I should be ashamed of myself. I don't know if it's all just worn me down or what, but I feel like I need to ask, am I the butthole? Edited to fix some errors. ETA, after some thinking and reading a lot of comments, I have decided they can have the money and I am going to make it clear that I never want to hear from any of them again. If nothing else, I need him to do that much. The relationship is done but the money can be theirs. Not the butthole. Tell her she is lucky you did not file a police report against your dad. I would say not the butthole. Why don't your grandparents step up if they are so concerned? I definitely wouldn't after how your stepmom spoke to you. They will leave you with nothing. Not the butthole. I understand why you feel the way you do about the ring. I have 2 rings, they were my grandmother's, then my mom's, now they're mine. I wear one all of the time, it feels like I have my mom with me. It's very sad that they have a sick child, but it's their child, not yours. You shouldn't have to pay them any money. They should be finding ways to finance what that child needs. I hope you're able to find some closure with this. Ultimately, your own father stole something from you that was very precious to you. That's not right. Not the butthole. If there were no ring and no money, what would they have done? Whatever the answer to that is, that's what they should have done / should do to get the money. Am I the butthole? My fiancé thinks I should be happy with any present he gets me even if I tell him specifically what to get or not. My 42 female, fiancé, 45 male, and I have been together for 8 years. For the past several Christmases we end up arguing about the gifts he's got for me. And I end up not getting him the right things either. So to try to avoid that this year I brought up making lists for each other. He seemed okay with that until I said what I don't want him to get me, specifically anything purple or any scarves. That was it. He got mad, said I should be grateful for whatever I get, that since I'm poor, I'm a psalm with very little income, that I should just be happy to get anything at all. He says I'm spoiled for saying anything, that I ruin Christmas every year. Basically he thinks he can get me whatever, including a purple scarf. I should just be happy, say thank you, wear it. Am I the butthole for saying what I do or don't want as gifts for Christmas, telling him to not get me anything if he can't abide by my wishes? Edit to add, I don't hate purple, and sometimes I wear purple, though it's rare that I buy anything on purpose. I sometimes get hand-me-downs or buy bags of second-hand clothes in my size / style. The main reason I don't want purple things is BC my mom only wears purple aside from neutrals. Seriously, she is the purple queen. But then when I get into arguments over other random things, he often says that I'm just like my mom, which I don't think is true, but that part doesn't matter. If he doesn't like that I might be like my mom, why does he buy me things so that I look like her? It's exhausting just thinking about why. Sorry if this edit changes anyone's opinion, but I don't think it will. Although some people might think he has a thing for my mom, but I can't even imagine that BC she's almost 70. Edit number 2, lots of people are saying financial abuse while he doesn't usually give me any money, except this week he gave me $1,000 BC, he won $10,000, he pays all the bills, I just buy groceries, have my own spending money. We do both agree that we'd rather have me home with our kids than to have strangers watching them all the time. I am not the best housekeeper, but I do the majority of it as well as cooking. I was employed at $28 per hour for 8 years but was laid off after going back to work part-time in 2020 after my mat leave for our first child was over. At the time I had $15,000 in the bank. We own our house together. In the past 2 years my savings has dwindled BC. I was still paying 1K/mo while he was working a lower paid job as an apprentice, but recently he is making more again. His savings has increased by selling his previously owned home, now has $120,000 more in his bank. So my being poor is not only not true, but it's due to contributing so much the past few years without much income. We are in Canada, so no taxes on winnings. We are common law with both names on our house. Also, with the gift giving, he goes overboard every year, then complains about the money, but also spent a lot on my 12-year-old son for gifts that many of them went unused. BC they aren't his thing either. He also has a bad habit of shopping for himself in December, leaving me scrounging for ideas. You're poor? You're his damn fiancé. Leave him and find a man that respects you. You'll take what you get and you'll like it. Shudder. Not the butthole. You are his partner. You're only poor if he's poor. The larger issue is his disrespect and failure to consider you two a unit financially. Of course, if you tell him you don't want a purple scarf, he shouldn't fly off the handle saying you're spoiled and should be grateful for a purple scarf. Does he even like you? Am I the butthole for telling my parents that my brother is facing the consequences of his actions and I'll never help him? My brother is a pathological liar. He has been almost as long as I have known him. It started when he was 7 to 8 years old. I have been on the other end of his lies more than once. I was 2 years older, so was always supposed to forgive once I'd get an apology from him, which was always forced by our parents. Some of the lies in childhood I was subjected to, that I cheated on one long-term girlfriend and slept with her best friend, That I had stolen my best friend's dad's family ring. It was stolen for real but not by me. That I had given him permission to use my locker in school, which our high school did not allow. That I went out with friends when I was home, in my room. The lie that made me cut him out of my life happened when we were 20 and 22. I had just moved in with my then long-term girlfriend. She and I had been together for almost 3 years at that point. My brother then told her that I had fathered a child with one of my ex-girlfriends and that I had abandoned my child so I could get girls easier. She believed him enough that even when she realized she was wrong, the relationship was broken beyond repair. I told my brother after this that I never wanted to see him again, that he was dead to me and I hoped one day his life would fall apart because of all his sick lies. His response was we were family and I couldn't disown him forever. I told him family are the people you love and how could I love someone like him? It's been 15 years since that went down. I got married to my wonderful wife, we have 4 amazing children together and I have not seen my brother since. I also have a strained relationship with my parents because I do blame them for not taking care of the problem a lot sooner. So this is what I know. But I don't really care, so some details could be wrong. My brother was married. He lied a lot to his wife and her parents. His wife was sort of aware of what he was like, her parents were not. He and his wife had children together and they lived in a house owned by the wife's parents. His wife died suddenly and some of my brother's lies were exposed. His wife's parents did not want him in their house and kicked him out. They also kept all of his wife's stuff and denied him everything but the clothes he and the kids owned and the kids' toys. They offered to raise his children but he refused. Then he lost his job because of lies. My parents took him and the kids in. Now they want us to make up and they want me to help him out. I told him he got what he deserves and now he is facing the consequences of his actions and that I'll never ever help him. I told them he is not my family, his kids are not my family and I am nothing to do with this. They asked how I could turn my back on innocent children. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. Your parents turned their backs on a child by enabling your brother to grow up the way he did. I know there are cases where parents can do everything right and the child still grows up into an butthole, but in this case, they clearly allowed OP's brother to grow up into a little monster. They also turn their backs on you by trying to force forgiveness. They have some nerve to cry to you about the consequences now. Not the butthole. Never. You are not turning your back on innocent children, this is sickening emotional blackmail. Your parents have obviously enabled this behavior over the years but want you to pay the price for it. They chose to have him but you did not. He is their problem. Not the butthole. I feel bad for those kids, I really do. But nothing you can do will help them, because their father comes attached to them and he will sabotage even the best of attempts. No matter what you do, your help will not reach those children. Hold your ground. Not the butthole. They're right that the kids are innocent, and look what they have for their sole parent, but he has help from your parents and refused it from his wife's parents, so he's not helpless. I'm sure it's hard for him, especially if he's in the habit of lying when he doesn't like reality, but you're absolutely right that he needs to experience consequences to make him face up to things. Am I the butthole for letting my daughter wear the clothes that no longer fitted her sister even though it made her insecure? I, female, 43, have 2 teenage daughters, Molly, female, 16, and Ella, female, 14. My daughter Molly is very athletic, and is at a regular healthy weight. My daughter Ella on the other hand is quite overweight, not so much so that it stops her from living life but enough that we were encouraged to help her lose weight by her physician at her last appointment, which we have been helping her do. Recently Ella has been very jealous of Molly, because her sister does not need to go on the same diets. She has been treating Ella very unfairly, and calling her all sorts of names like anorexic and skeleton, as well as complaining that we are punishing her for having a different metabolism, when really Ella has always had a very unhealthy diet, whereas Molly tends to eat very healthy. We have been punishing her for her treatment towards Molly by taking her phone, and her Xbox, but she always ends up doing it again even after we give it back. Today this is when it hit its worst point. Molly has grown since last winter and so she needs new jumpers, which we were going to buy on the weekend, but during the week when looking in Ella's closet I noticed some of the clothes she had put to the side to be donated as they did not fit looked like they may fit Molly, including one of the jumpers. I washed the jumper and asked Molly if she would be okay with wearing the jumper to stay warm until the weekend. She said yes and that she would prefer it to her old ones as they were not big enough to cover her completely in the winter. When Ella got in she completely lost it, and I came into her arguing with her sister. When I came in Ella was grabbing at the jumper trying to pull it of her sister. I broke it up and asked Molly to go upstairs so I could try and talk to her sister and figure out what was wrong. She said it was because Molly was wearing her jumper. I asked if she wanted to keep the jumper, and Ella said no, she wanted to throw it away because it was not comfortable anymore, but that she did not want her sister to have it. I said okay, but her sister would still wear it for a few days until the weekend to keep warm. She then got very angry and said we wanted to make her insecure and that Molly does not deserve new jumpers. I explained that Molly would keep the jumper, and she went to her room refusing to talk to me. This morning Molly called me to her room, there was fabric all over the floor where Ella had cut the jumper up. I grounded Ella and told her I have had enough PF for jealousy, to which she called me an in ruder terms. I have been thinking, and I wonder now, am I the butthole? Edit. Many have been saying that Ella needs therapy. Ella has been in counseling for some time. Sorry, I thought I included it, but clearly not. Not the butthole. Ella is going through a crisis. She needs to see a therapist, because she's taking out her insecurities on her sister, and that is absolutely not acceptable behavior. Punishing her is not going to work. She needs professional help. My biggest takeaway is that your daughters need therapy. Definitely Ella, but possibly Molly too, at the very least, for recovery of the treatment Ella has been inflicting. Family counseling might be good too, and a nutritionist. If her doctor has requested her to lose weight because it's unhealthy, then you need to get to the cause of the weight, specifics. But the clothing thing is ridiculous. I think you should have let her throw it out, because while it was in her closet, it was hers and you were in the wrong for taking it. But once it's thrown away, then Ella is 100% in the wrong, because throwing it out makes it not hers anymore. Am I the butthole for accidentally revealing my Sil is pregnant? L, 31 female, used to me married to my Bill, 37 male. Bill is now married to Julie, 40 female. Even though Elle and Bill are divorced, I still see her as my Sil. Bill divorced her, I didn't. We are still very close and refer to each other as our Sil. Last month I, 40 female, joined Facebook as one of my siblings is moving abroad next year and I want to keep in contact with them. Elle is in a relationship with James, 40 male. Elle has recently announced on social media that she is pregnant with the third child. She and Bill have twins. She is due in March. She had posted it on her social media, which she does not have Julie or Bill on. I have added Julie and Bill to keep the peace within the family, but Elle has shown me how to change the settings on posts, so if I want to post something that has her in it, then Julie and Bill can't see it. I have started to crochet and knitting for Elle's new baby. For the twins I made blankets, and I made the hats and cardigans that they came home in. I wanted to do the same for the new baby, as well as I know Elle has kept these items for her children and I don't want my new niece or nephew to feel left out. I posted a picture of the hat I had made for the new baby on one of my children's teddies. I captioned it that very excited to be knitting and crocheting for a new family baby and I'm excited to become an aunt again. I didn't tag anyone it in, I didn't say who was having the baby or anything. As I hadn't mentioned Elle in it at all, I figured it would be safe to let Bill and Julie see it. Well, Julie commented underneath the post demanding I took it down, furious that I had dared to post about her being pregnant. I had no idea that she was pregnant. Julie never struck me as wanting children, as she is so cold with the twins and my children. Bill and Julie have now been contacting me and husband, 40 male, demanding that we take the post down, telling us that we should know better than to announce someone else's pregnancy. Julie has said that we are making her sick with stress as she didn't want it to be announced this early. Julie is 7 weeks pregnant. I haven't said anything to Bill or Julie about Elle being pregnant, as I know Elle wouldn't want them to know. I have left the post up, but have told Julie and Bill that the post wasn't about them and that I'm not just an aunt to their future child and that I have siblings who could also be expecting. I feel like I might be the butthole, as my post has accidentally revealed that Julie is pregnant, even if it was revealed by Julie herself. I feel bad about it, as I know how stressful those early weeks can be, with worrying that everything is okay before your 12-week scan. Edit. Both my sister and Alice, my brother's wife, are pregnant. Bill is my husband's younger brother. Apologies for not adding this, I didn't think it was important. The twins are excited for their new sibling but haven't seen their dad in ages. I woke up this morning to see that Julie's comments have been deleted off my post and a message from her just saying sorry. This isn't normal Julie behavior. I have never known her to apologize for anything. My sister called me this morning to ask if Julie had apologized to me. I asked her how she knew Julie had messaged me. Turns out, she had seen the post, knowing the hat was for Elle, but had messaged Julie angrily, having a go at her for making a big deal over a hat for my sister's baby. She told Julie that she hadn't announced it yet and had told me that if I was posting to make it vague. My sister hasn't announced publicly she's pregnant, as she isn't that much further along than Julie. I know because she has severe morning sickness and she reached out for help, as I was the same with my last. My sister knows I don't have a good relationship with Julie. Oops. Julie outed herself, and this makes her a double butthole for also assuming the hat that you made was intended for her baby. Actually, let's ramp that up a bit. We'll make that order a flaming triple butthole with a side of large fries and a Coke for also throwing accusations around without asking like any reasonable human being would at first. Can we also order an extra butthole on the side, since we have to include Bill for defending his wife's behavior? After all, he wasn't even decent enough to ask you himself either. Being pregnant doesn't excuse anyone from acting crazy and accusatory and even berating you on Facebook. Leave the post up. Ignore their calls and messages and block them if you have to. In the meantime, I think it's time for Julie and Bill to wash a chill pill down with a nice cold, refreshing bottle of Shut the Frick Up. Not the butthole. Not the butthole. You didn't reveal her pregnancy. Julie seems like a piece of work though. Like, how does she think you found out she's pregnant when she or Bill never told anybody yet? She's being overly ignorant and dramatic. And quite frankly, self-centered. Did she think she's the only one ever allowed to be pregnant? Keep the post up. You did nothing wrong. Now, how was their reaction when you told them what you're knitting ISNT for them? Ha 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 ha. Not the butthole. You didn't do anything wrong as the post wasn't about Julie. They know that neither of them told you, yet still think the post is about their pregnancy. Are they stupid? Am I the butthole for getting upset when my roommate's partner asks me to clean? Keeping this anon cause I'm not trying to put anyone on blast here. Alright, here's the situation. My roommate, 21, has their partner over almost every night, like 6 to 7 nights a week. This breaks our lease, but I've decided to let it go since we all lease separately. I wouldn't get in trouble for their partner being there. The problem is that their partner constantly demands me to do chores in my own home. The partner pays no rent, no portion of utilities, and really contributes in no way other than walking the dog sometimes, which is appreciated. I work, play a sport, and take 6 classes at my university. The last thing I want when I get home is someone who doesn't live here telling me to do the dishes. I do keep a relatively clean space, but I won't have an aneurysm over the dishes not being washed for a night. What really got me was they finally left today. The partner told me I expect this to be clean when I get back. I kinda lost it and told them that they have no business telling me how to maintain my own home that I pay for. My roommate said I overreacted, but our other roommate agrees with me. I guess I could have been nicer, but am I the butthole? Edit. Thank you all so much for the support. I just talked to my roommates and we're going to sit down and set some boundaries here soon. Thanks again for all the support and making me feel like I wasn't going insane. Smile. Not the butthole. Greater than I work. Irrelevant, actually. Greater than play a sport. Also irrelevant. Greater than and take 6 classes at my university. Yup. Irrelevant. Greater than my own home that I pay for. This is the entire point. Oh frick the partner, it's none of their business. That's really incredibly rude. Roommate is only saying you overreacted because they're defending their partner. If partner is spending 6 to 7 nights a week, and it's that important, then let them clean. Or your roommate could do it, if they really want to keep the peace. It's really not on you at all. Am I the butthole for being annoyed my BF drank my special whiskey? I was given an expensive personalized bottle of whiskey from work as a thank you, good project outcome. I like whiskey but don't drink it very often, and it was a few weeks before I went to have some. At this point it was all gone. BF, who likes nice whiskey, said it was available for both of us and I should have drunk it more quickly. I was annoyed and said he should have left at least some of it for me. He said we have food and drinks in our house which are for both of us and we both drink them and I could replace it if I wanted to, as per other joint grocery purchases. This feels different and I was annoyed because it was a rare treat which I probably won't replace and felt he should have saved some of it for me. We had a big argument. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. As a whiskey drinker I think I speak for us all in saying your BF is a thief and a scoundrel. Unacceptable behavior. He needs to replace and grovel for your forgiveness. If someone did this to me I'd have serious issues. Not the butthole, and he's a thief. It was a gift to you, he had no right to take it without your permission. Am I the butthole for not inviting my stepmother and her daughter at my wedding? I, 24 female, am getting married next summer to my fiancé Jay. My mom died when I was 7. Dad married Kay 4 years later. Kay has a daughter E, 22, from a previous relationship. Kay and E are easily the most entitled, spoiled and rude people I've ever met. They never treated me like family. Kay has done everything possible to push me away from the family. I haven't been in any family pictures since I was 14. I was never allowed on any family vacation/activities. Per Kay request my dad banned any family members from giving me any gifts for my birthday/holidays. She always hated me. I can't even remember all the times I cried because of the things she would say to me. E was the favorite child. Whatever she wanted they would get it for her. Me? I had to work if I wanted something. School supplies? Work for them. My clothes don't fit me anymore? Work for new clothes. E liked to break my stuff and I would be grounded because I got mad at her. My last straw was when she cut all pictures I had of mom. Dad found me crying and when I showed him the pictures he told me to let it go. I packed a bag and went to stay with my grandparents. I was 17. Dad never came for me. Never called or texted me either. He reached out to me when I was 20, apologized and said he wanted to reconnect. I told him if he wants that he will have to work very hard to earn a relationship with me since he hasn't been my dad since I was 12 and in 3 years I haven't heard from him at all. He said he'll do anything to be my dad again. Since then I've been LC with him because I don't feel like he's putting enough work into our relationship. I finished college last year and he attended the ceremony, and after that we spent the entire weekend together bonding. It was the first time I felt like I had a dad in almost 13 years. I wanted my dad to attend the wedding as a guest, but I don't want K or E there. I talked to my dad about it and he was okay with attending as a guest. My grandpa will be walking me down the aisle, but he was really mad when I said I will not invite K and E. His reasoning is that they are his family, so that makes them mine too, and he doesn't want them to be excluded. He then said he will not attend if they aren't invited, so I said okay. I guess then you won't attend my wedding and our relationship is over since you're choosing them over me again. It is my wedding and I don't want those disgusting people there. Please don't contact me again. Go be with your perfect little family and forget I exist. You have practice on that. Goodbye. Then I blocked his number. Some family members reached out to me and told me I should be the bigger person and maybe the wedding could be what's going to fix our relationship. My grandparents said that it's my big day and I shouldn't have people that make me uncomfortable there. Jay and his parents agree that I shouldn't invite people that hurt me just because they are legally considered family. So am I the butthole? Update. The situation has blown out of proportions. K family has been blowing up my phone, sending me death/rape threats, and what's worse is that they have sent the same threats to my grandparents. I had a panic attack so bad when my grandma called me and told me I'm currently in the hospital. Jay mom is with me and Jay and his dad went to my hometown to bring my grandparents here because I'm honestly scared something may happen to them. I don't know what to do. This has turned into a nightmare. And before you suggest a restraining order, in my country they won't give you one unless they actually hurt you. Jay aunt has offered to have us move in with her across the country, and as much as we love our life here, we will accept her offer. Edit. A lot of people keep asking why K and E want to come to my wedding when they clearly hate me. I don't think they want to come. I think it's the fact that I don't want them there that makes them want to come. They're not used to being told no. Not the butthole. Your wedding should be one of your happiest days of your life. Your father made his choice. You don't always need to be the bigger person anyway, but they're not even really asking you to do that. They're asking you to be a pushover and let your father and his wife and her child get their way. That's not being the bigger person. You're so much better off without. OP, I hope you have a beautiful wedding, stress-free, and embrace your new family. Edit. For your update, OP, I really hope you stay safe. I'm so sorry this has been such a source of stress and hurt for you in what should be a happy time. I'm proud of you for taking the steps needed to make sure you and your grandparents are safe. There is better advice in this thread for how to handle this legally, but I just wanted to add that my best wishes are with you. Hang in there and be safe. Not the butthole. Your grandparents are right. They've done nothing to deserve being invited, and why sacrifice your own happiness on your wedding day for them? Not the butthole. Forgive me, but your dad is the most disgusting person ever. He not only allowed that behavior but he encouraged it. Personally, I'd make sure the ushers know he and the evil stepmother/stepsister are banned. Am I the butthole for going to a fancy restaurant without my girlfriend? There's a 3 Michelin star restaurant that I've been wanting to try. I finally got a reservation for 4 and asked if my girlfriend wanted to come. When I told her the cost, $500 per person, she declined. I invited another friend and we are still planning to go. My girlfriend is pretty annoyed by this. She thinks it's inconsiderate that I'm going to this super fancy dinner that she can't afford. She won't clearly articulate why it's inconsiderate. She says things like just go if you want, and I shouldn't have to explain why it's inconsiderate. I don't know if she expects me to pay or if she expects me to not go at all. I do not find either of those solutions to be reasonable. Am I being dense for not understanding what's so awful about this situation? TLDR, going to a fancy restaurant without my girlfriend and she's not happy about it. Not the butthole. Based upon this reply and other replies I've read, it seems like your GF would have the money to go if she wanted to. She chooses to spend her money on other things though. Since this is a priority for you and you have friends who want to go, I'd suggest you go and have a good time. Edited based upon OP's reply. I originally asked how long they had been together. Not the butthole. She's trying to manipulate you. I shouldn't have to explain why I'm upset means I don't want to admit out loud why I'm upset, so let's pretend you're the problem. Source, used to play these crafty games in my 20s. Not the butthole, you saved up for this. I assume she knew you were saving up for this, yeah? You say in comments that your GF spends a lot of money on clothes and other frivolities, which is fine, her right and her prerogative. But you saved your money so you could go to this restaurant. That's your right and your prerogative. If she wanted to accompany you, then she should have set aside some of her funds so she could attend. She did not, so if she can't afford to now go, that was her choice. I don't think you should be obligated to pay for her, or to postpone your plans when she presumably had ample time to save like you did but chose not to. Would her plan be to start saving now? How long would that take? And would she stick to the commitment of saving? It's inconsiderate of her to expect you to cancel your plans just because she chose not to attend. You're allowed to have a fun time without your partner, especially when you saved up for it and she had the opportunity to do the same but chose not to. Not the butthole. She's wanting you to pay. Am I the butthole for wanting to sell my dead husband's comic books even though my kids want them? Background: my husband passed away in 2014 at the age of 46 from ALS and frontotemporal degeneration. Before we knew he was sick, I left him because he changed into someone that didn't speak to me, touch me, or interact with me. I tried for 2 years to fix things, but they just got worse. I have a lot of guilt about this, but again, I didn't know. We never got divorced, and we still saw each other every day because kids and parenting. I honestly thought he was just terribly depressed, and just wouldn't get the help he needed. That obviously wasn't the case. Anyway, through circumstances, he came back home. Within about a year we discovered he was sick, very very sick. And I cared for him until he passed. While he was sick it was very difficult to get any help at all from his family, and I eventually quit my 9-to-5 job to care for him. His family didn't really help me with anything, and were in the hills of denial for almost the whole time. So much so that while I was caring for him in the way the doctors told me to, and sharing info of what was happening with the doctors, they were accusing me of lying and of not caring for him well at all. Husband would tell them that I was his advocate and that I was doing a great job making sure he got the care he needed, etc. All that to say, his family wasn't a fan of me, and as his health declined, so did their opinion of me. Fast forward to now. My in-laws both passed during COVID, and my Bill, husband's brother, 50M, was clearing out the dad's condo, and in the storage area found a bunch of stuff that husband had stored there, including thousands of comic books from the 70s, 80s and 90s. Husband didn't have much, anything really, and he even downgraded his life insurance the last year of his life, to save money. It was a side effect of his brain not working. He was super focused on money, but in weird ways. So, while we did get some life insurance, we didn't get much. And while we did get his social security, that also wasn't much. Bill gave everything of husband's he found directly to our kids, 19F and 21M, bypassing me completely. Here's where I might be the butthole. I don't believe Bill had any right to give those things to the kids. They were husband's, which makes them mine. Of course if things had gone how they should have I would have let the kids pick out their favorites, but we don't have a lot, and selling these old and well cared for comics would be a huge help to me and to the household. But he did give them to the kids, so any talk of selling them the kids are saying they aren't mine to sell. Am I the butthole for thinking the comics are mine, and that if I want to sell them I should be able to sell them? Edit: clearly I was wrong to want to sell the comics. I will not be pushing the issue, and they can do what they want with them. I tried to paint a clear picture in my post and in the comments. I'm not sure if I did that or not, but I did try. Thanks everyone. You're the butthole, let your kids have them, it's a tangible reminder of their dad. So here's the thing, you are starting with a faulty assumption that these should be yours in the first place. These items have been in the in-laws' possession since well before husband passed, and from the sound of it, including periods of time when husband was a minor. As no one ever tried to regain possession of them during any time, it could be argued that in-laws actually became the official owners. Particularly, after husband's death. Therefore, when Bill was cleaning out his parents' house, he divided the assets to the adult grandchildren of the descendants. You are not entitled to inherit items from the in-laws. I get you are hurting financially, but deciding what your adult children should do with their inheritance, particularly, selling and giving you the profits, is ridiculous at best, and nefarious at worst. You're the butthole. I know how it is to live paycheck to paycheck. I started working when I was 15 to help put food on the table and pay the bills. I remember hearing my mom cry on the phone telling her brother she didn't know how else to get money and was worried she would have to sell her body to make it work. Thankfully she didn't get to that point. You feel this way because you are trying not to drown. You are bitter at what his family didn't do. You'd do it all over again, but that doesn't mean it's been easy. I don't think you're greedy. You're likely just desperate for some kind of help. There's no shame in asking here. Humans are sentimental creatures. They will cling to anything they can have that makes them feel close to someone they loved. I hope his family treats them far better than they treated their son/brother. Hugs. No buttholes here. The comments are ruthless. I guess Reddit picks and chooses which women who are drowning in debt they want to support. It's fine to tell you that you shouldn't sell the comics because of their sentimental values, but some of these comments don't even have any empathy at a single mom who is drowning and just trying to survive. You can make it, I know you will. My mom was a widow with 3 kids and the oldest, me, was 10. I heard she wails many nights and at some point even considered suicide. It was hard, but it got better. You'll overcome it. Pray God to give you strength.